about a place you would like to visit, and I'd like to discuss with you one or two more general questions related to this topic. First of all, let's start with the topic of traveling to less familiar places. What sort of advantages are there to reading about a country before you visit?
Reading. Reading about a country where I haven't been or rarely heard of is that you can have good planning in ahead of time, and that can give you an exposure of what the country can bring you during the trip. Also, I think most of the people today would like to have fully utilized their vocational time. So I think you can have a very tight schedule pre-planned, and so that you can have you don't have to linger over during your vacation.
Do you think there's any disadvantages to maybe over-planning or doing too much planning and research before you go?
As far as I'm concerned, I don't think there will be quite a lot of disadvantages or side effects. The one thing I can only think of is that maybe that will prevent you from getting some kind of surprise, no matter it's bad surprise or good surprise.
A lot of people like to have a guide, especially if they go to an unfamiliar place. Do you think this is necessary?
As for me, who is, have no idea where I am if I'm in a new location, then I think it's really helpful for me. For example, things like Lonely Planet can give you a full guide of where is the best cuisine you can find and best scenery that you can see. So I think that's really a very good tool for the tourism.
Now, when you travel to less familiar places, do you think you'll learn more from going to important sites, important locations, or from meeting local people?
I think both would do, but the latter one would be much more important to understand the local culture, and especially when you meet with the native people, you can really understand what kind of life they are leading, and the custom and the history by conversing with them rather than just seeing the mountains and the lakes. You will know better.
Now let's talk about tourism in general. Do you think governments should protect historical places of interest?
Yes, I think there is a strong need for protection over historical places. For one thing, I think maybe it's quite special here in China because, for two things. The Chinese population here is very heavy, and people tend to go to these historical important places to visit in a short time slot, and these kind of services might not afford such kind of heavy population. And the second is that still there are some quite a lot of uneducated people here, and you need to educate them in a way to protect these kind of historical places.
So how can the government have like a balance between protecting the historical places but also encouraging people to encouraging tourism?
Yeah, what I see what the Chinese government is doing now is that they pose very high fee over these tickets and the fare. But as long as I'm concerned, I don't think this is a proper way. I think the very first thing is that you need to have more propagation or promotion of how we can become a civilized tourist. And the second is that you may have some kind of quota restriction over the visitors of these places.
Are there ways that these scenic places where a lot of tourists go can be improved? I mean, you said the prices were high. Are there any other changes you'd like to see?
Yeah, I think still the Chinese government or some other governments in other countries still need to upgrade their facilities so that the tourist people can enjoy more convenient services there.
So if the prices aren't high, who will pay for these improvements? Should these be tax dollars, or should these be from people that come to visit?
I think tax from refund from tax may be the most important economic resources, and yeah, I think that's a key one.
With increased global travel, do you think cities should provide more facilities for tourists?
Yes, exactly. Facilities not only limited to transportation facilities, but also to the very fundamental ones like restaurants that go with these kind of places, and also some other things. Maybe a little bit, or maybe the toilets that you can even improve, the quality here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Our time is up.
Yeah.
That is the end of